Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this very special edition of the Vet Supercars NZ show. We've got Erebus Motorsport team owner Betty Klimenko joining us tonight. So, huge thanks to her for coming on board with us. So, for some people may not know you, Betty, just give us a bit of background about yourself.
I'm the only woman owner in V8 Supercars in Australia. I'm in 5 categories. I'm in karts, F3s, utes, the V8 utes, the GTs, and the V8s. I spend practically all my life on track. Been there doing this for 17 years, but only this is my second year in V8s, so it's a long road.
Yeah. So we'll move on to some questions we have for Betty. So I'll hand you over to Braden.
Thank you.
Thank you, Geordie, and welcome, Betty, and welcome to everyone who is listening in tonight. So let's start off with a couple of questions that we received on Facebook. So I'll read out the first one, and Geordie, you can read out the second. So this one's from Matt Gibby, and he says, "Hi, Betty Klimenko. What made you want to be with Vet Supercars family?"
Oh, that's actually an easy one. I was doing GTs. We had 6 rounds a year, and they say that motorsport is a passion. It's not a passion; it's a disease. And I was a junkie, and I didn't have enough. Well, couldn't do it enough with just the GTs. And I said I want to go racing more, and V8 just was a logical step.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. So, what are you trying to read the second?
The next one's from Kyle. I hope I'm saying your name right. Sour. It says, "Hi Betty, how did you get these cars so competitive in 24 months?"
Good but complicated question. The original engine development was done in Germany, and in Germany they have a similar racing called DTMs, but it's not exactly the same. We brought it in-house at the end of last year, and of course a lovely New Zealander by the name of Ross Stone got his hands on it, and he's between him and Germany together, they've been able to push the engine up and get the results that we want.
Cool. So Braden, what are your questions that you have for Betty?
Okay, so I've got 2 questions. So the first one is, how did you feel when Nissan potentially had a 1-2 finish at Winton last year? And do you think it was a fair win or advantage knowing that they had E70 fuel in the Hornets vehicles?
You know what? I think they won it fair and square because the fuel didn't make any difference because we also used that fuel during that weekend and we came second last. So it wasn't the fuel. And by the fact of us winning at Winton, I think that legitimizes the Nissan win. It's, you know what, that's their home track. They should have done well. Even Craig Lowndes said before the race that Nissan should do well here because this is their home track. This is where they test. So I honestly think it was a legitimate win.
Oh, yeah. And my second question is, what do you think of the Pukekohe track layout, the new one and the old one? And what do you think of New Zealanders and the country as a whole?
I like the track. I don't, if it's practice or something, I'll go and sit on the hill on the other side and, I go and squeeze myself in between a few people and just sit there with my headsets on, and they actually give me good advice and they say, "Oh, Betty, it's not sounding so good coming around the corner," or they sound really good. People like to give advice. I like to listen to people when I'm there. So instead of sitting in the garage, I'll go for a wander. And I love New Zealanders. I just think they've got a wonderful sense of humour, and they just get it. So, and I love the track. The track is it feels a little funny being in the middle of everything, but it's a good track. The best memory of it was, I think it was last year, sitting in the pit lane eating pizza, and I just thought, who else sits in pit lane eating pizza at 8 o'clock at night? It's a great track.
So you like the bumps on the track?
You know what? It all makes it exciting. The bumps are, you just got to, every track has its own, like last round, Winton. The substance that they used on the track to fill in the gaps, it just all melted. It ended up being like a tar pit. It gave so much grip to that track that it was unbelievable. And the guys just have to be able to change the way they drive wherever they are. It doesn't matter what the circumstances. So it's good for them to have, something that's not so 100% perfect. I like the bumps. I think it adds flavour to the race.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stephen, would you like to ask your questions?
Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Braden. Thank you, Betty, for joining us. And thank you to all our fans watching in tonight. My first question is, last year, both Airbus and SVR proceeded into legal action against Van Gisbergen. Can you give us an update on that lawsuit?
I can't. For legal reasons, I can't.
Is it still going through?
Look, I am not allowed to talk about it at all, but the fact that I can't talk about it at all is something you'll have to work out for yourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
My second question is, you have had amazing drivers employed into your Australian GT teams and V8 Supercar team over the last few years. Which one of those drivers is your favourite driver?
I have to say my favourite driver would be, look, you know what? I think Lee deserves it for the simple reason that he has persisted and he has kept his head up. And all last year when he just between him and the track and the car, it just didn't work. But not once did he, he never yelled, he never screamed. He was always upbeat and he said, next time, Betty. And it does your heart good when someone has so much faith in you and says, next time, Betty, I know we're going to get it. And we did. But the funniest one was Mika Hakkinen, the ex-Formula 1 driver. He drove for us in China, and he won. He won the race with us, and I saw him in Macau. He puts his arm around me. He says, Betty. And I'm like, yes, Mika. He goes, you need more horsepower. Make it go faster. And I'm like, Mika, it is a parity race. It's we're not allowed any more horsepower. He just wouldn't take it. And he just, the whole weekend, all he kept on saying to me was screaming at me, going, horsepower, horsepower. So he was the funniest. But Lee is my favourite at the moment. Well, not at the moment, but I have a lot of respect for him. And Will, because Will is just, all my drivers, I like them all. Jack is amazing. Richard's amazing. We've never had a driver that I haven't had, a bond with.
Yeah. So I'll move on to my
Wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
My third question is, try and keep this clean. What type of ice cream describes your personality?
I asked my husband that the other night, and we went through it, and it was a case of, has to be the chocolate dip soft serve. I don't know if you call it the same in New Zealand, but
yeah,
like the Dairy Queen type stuff, that it's the soft serve, and you get it at the pictures, they dip it in the hot chocolate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. I'm very hard on the outside, but when you get to know me, I'm a real softy inside. There's no flavour. I'll go any flavour. And that was clean.
I am. Thank you. I'll pass you over to Geordie.
Okay, so I've got two questions. First of all, what do you consider your main team or your higher priority, your GT team or your V8 team?
There is no higher priority. You know what, the GTs are my babies, where I started. Well, I started with Formula 3 17 years ago, but for me, it's different racing. GTs we've been doing it a while. We have a perfect crew. Everything is, we've got to that stage where we have a good driver. We know the car. I know the car. I know that car inside out. V8s is still new to me. It's only the beginning of my second year. And I don't have a favourite. It's a different type of racing. You can't look at them as the same because they're different beasts. I mean, we've had the V8 drivers in the GTs, and they just get out and say, "Can we do it again? Can we do it again?" Because they love it. It is a beast, but it's a different type of beast to the V8s.
Yeah, my second question, I think you may have already answered this, but last year, when your team probably wasn't performing as well as you probably thought or expected, and was there sort of any time amongst the entire team where someone, was wanting to throw in the flag, or what was sort of the atmosphere?
Look, we all had our off days. We all threw things, I'd be watching the screen or the numbers, and one of our cars would either have a collision or go into a wall, or something would happen, and I just shook my head. And it's very hard not to throw something. It's very hard not to start swearing but you always have a camera right up to your face. It's part of the contract. You allow them to come within a certain distance of you, and you're not allowed to swear. So you kind of learn. I learned in the first week not to swear. So I bite my bottom lip, and people actually think I'm about to say something, but I'm not. I'm just biting my bottom lip. But I learned I know this sounds strange, but I crochet now as I watch the race, and it calms my nerves.
We're going to move on now to some challenges and some games that we're going to play with Betty. So first of all, hand you over to Stephen.
Thank you, Geordie. So the game I'm going to play is called This and That. It's a game that I'll give two options, and the guest will have to decide which one is their preferred one. For example, Vegemite and Marmite. So Betty, which one would you choose?
Vegemite.
Yeah. Australian Vegemite, of course.
Of course.
So we will start a game. There's 15 of them.
Okay.
So the first one is apple or orange?
Apple.
Bedspread or duvet?
Bedspread.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Ford or Holden?
Ford.
Gold or silver?
Silver.
Lamb or beef?
Lamb.
Left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Morning or evening?
Evening.
Plane or train?
Train.
Savoury or sweet?
Savoury.
This is for facial here. Shade or natural?
Natural.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Toast or cereal?
Toast. With
Winter,
Vegemite.
winter or summer?
Winter.
Wow, that's pretty good. So I hand you over to Braden.
Yep.
Thanks, Stephen. Okay, so my game is basically, there's no name for it, but I'm going to name a list of people. Some of them will be drivers, some of them will be from the V8 Supercar community, and Betty, basically, you have to give us your first thoughts of the person when I mention them.
Okay, I'll try and keep it clean.
Okay, the first one is Jason Barguana.
Love the dude.
Jamie Whincup.
Misunderstood. Very misunderstood young man.
Will Davison.
Love him. He's a gentleman and a scholar. He really is.
Tim Edwards.
Good question. I don't know him enough to say a lot about him, but he's not bad.
Tim Slade.
He drove for me last year. He's very down to earth, and he's very You know, he's the guy next door. He's your best friend next door, and we still, whenever I see him, we give each other a hug and a kiss. And look, you know what? He's a really cool guy.
Neil Crompton.
I think he's scared of me. I don't see him that often. I think I intimidate the poor man, but no, he's a nice guy. They're all nice guys. Those guys.
What about the Kelly boys?
Some people are very surprised by this. I get on so well with the Kelly boys. They're my next door neighbours, and I've got a big thing. I've got Russell Engel on one side, the Kelly boys on the other. So, and us in the middle. So it's a very emotional and very volatile little area there. And I get on like a house on fire with the Kelly boys. At Homebush, we discussed the complexity of remote control vehicles. You just got to understand them, and once you understand them, they're a riot. They really are nice guys.
Yeah. Roland Dane.
Thought this one would come up. Yeah, I got to give it to him. He's got a sense of humour. And this is, I am actually owning up to this. On the back of his RV, his daughter had put a picture of his face, and underneath it said, "Not English, not Irish, just something." I don't remember the word. I crossed the word out and put my signature. And then 2 days later, I put horns on him, and 2 days after that, I put a goatee on him, and he actually laughed and thought it was funny. He's very, you know what? Besides what I think about him, he's very dedicated to the sport, and he runs things his way, and it's good for him. I really don't want to get. I don't want to actually get into it about Roland.
Okay. Mark Scaife.
He's a busy little bee. Every time I see him, he's running, and he talks to you while he runs past, and he's, "Hi, Betty, how are you?" You've got to stand there for 5 minutes and decipher what he said, and by that time he's gone. So, you know what? Just a busy little bee.
Greg Murphy?
Again, I don't know him that well, but I actually haven't had a lot to do with him, but I'm one of these people that go into every garage on a Thursday and wish everyone a safe weekend. And I've been known to go and sit in garages and during races because mine's too hot or too noisy, and I go and look for a bit of peace and quiet somewhere else. I go and sit with Lucas Dumbrell, or I'll be down the other end with the Ford people. They don't throw me out because I'm half blind. I'm not going to see anything anyway. But I don't really know him, but I think he's a good dude.
Oh, yeah. Scott McLaughlin.
Interesting young man. I like the way he drives. I like the way he does things. When he matures, he is going to be a brilliant driver, and he's a nice young man. Like, you can see, he's been brought up properly.
I think we already know this, but what about Lee Holdsworth?
Oh, Lee's my bud. He's my little. I think there's the fact that he's just about half an inch taller than me, and when I give him a cuddle, I don't have to lean up. See, I'm the only owner who can actually cuddle properly without people thinking it's very not right, and I'm the only owner who can cry and do all. It's actually quite good being the only woman owner. But no, I love Lee. Lee has the constitution of 10 armies. He's. I would never want to let him go, ever. Love him, his family, the whole lot. They're a perfect package.
Marcus Ambrose.
I've only met him a couple of times. I actually watch him. I actually like his driving. I think that he's a really good driver. I mean, he was with Ross Stone for a while, so you know what? I really can't say because I haven't met him more than once, I think, and that was just in passing. So I'll leave that one till I actually meet him properly.
Okay, I got 2 more.
Yep.
So, Shaman Gisbergen.
I do have a nickname for him, but I won't tell you what it is.
Ooh.
Look, he's tall. He doesn't say much, and contrary to public opinion, I do say hello to him on track, and I do acknowledge him. And at the 12 hour, they made a big fuss about it. I walked into his garage. I had a cap. Someone had given me a cap that the officials were wearing, and I got everyone to sign it, including Eric Banner and Brad Fittler, and you can't have a cap that's signed by all the drivers, and you don't get all the drivers. So I just walked in there into his garage and said to him, "This is for the Children's Hospital. Could you please sign it?" And he said, "Yes, sure." He signed it, and I left, and that's all that happened. But people love to make controversy where there is none. Not going down that road, but I haven't really spoken to him much at all, and we usually just nod in passing and say, hello or good morning or good afternoon. That's it.
All right. And our final one.
But he is a very good driver. I will say that. He is a very, very good driver.
All the Kiwis are, aren't they?
You know what? You're right. It must be something in the water.
Our final one, Gary Rogers.
Love Gary Rogers. He and I have the very same mentality. He lets me know how it is, and he'll put his arm around me when we're walking and give me a bit of advice. They all do, actually. So does Dick Johnson and Rusty. They all do it. They put their arm around me, give me advice, and say, "Betty, you're going well, or you're not going well, or you should sit down and listen to what I have to say." But look, Gary and I get on like a house on fire. I haven't had my. I was threatened that I'm going to come down the pit lane and have words with him. Not for any other reason that I can. I'm waiting for the day that I get angry at someone really tall, so I can take a milk crate with me and put it down and stand on top of it and yell. But so far, I haven't had a reason to yell at anyone who's tall. So, and poor Jason's not. I think I need to get him a milk crate. And that is said in a really nice, I put my arm around you, Jason, we're really good buds type way. No, he's fun. He is fun. He's and what he's done is brilliant. What he's done with Volvo and Polestar is brilliant.
Cool. Thanks, Betty. So I'll hand you over to Geordie with the final game.
Okay, so this is going to be, all these games are going to be used whenever we have a special guest, but this one we're going to have a leaderboard on because it's really the only one that can be scored. And it's called 7 and 11. I asked Betty a question, and it'll be something like name 5 different brands of phone, and name 7 different brands of phone, and she has to name
don't
7.
ask me that question because I have no idea. It's whatever's in my hand.
I won't. And she has to answer. She has to get 7 brands of phone within 11 seconds. And so we'll do a couple of these. So I'll start off. I'll set the timer.
Start easy, be good, be kind.
Okay, I'll be kind. I'll start off with a really easy one. Name 7 car brands. Your time starts now.
Mercedes, BMW, Volkswagen, Ford, Holden, Mitsubishi, and
Time's
Chrysler.
up. You got 8.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I must have wrong fingers.
Oh, well, I hope I got that right. But you got 8. So now we'll see if with a slightly harder one. Name 7 past Stone Brothers racing drivers. Your time starts now.
Oh, crap. Oh. Tim Slade, Lee Holsworth, Shane Van Gisbergen, Marcus Ambrose, and that's it.
Okay. That was 5. Okay. Oh, what's an easy one for you?
My husband should have been sitting next to me for this one.
I'm just trying to think of an easy one.
You forgot Russell Ringo.
Yeah.
Look, my brain is so full of names at the moment and stats and stuff that I'm like that girl from that show, Married with Children. She gets so much information ahead if she takes one thing out to put another thing in. So sometimes my brain doesn't work that well.
Okay, the next one. Name 7 7 V8 Supercar champions. Starts now.
Can we get away from V8s?
Okay.
Can I call my husband? My 11 seconds will be up.
We'll leave that one. We'll leave that one. We'll try to get away from V8s.
Yeah, get away from giving names of racing cars because I fall apart because I try to remember too much.
Okay. Just trying to think of something that you might know.
Thanks. That makes me sound really intelligent.
Something that makes you sound intelligent. Okay. Name 7 rugby players.
Oh, that's gonna help.
Start now.
I have never watched rugby in my life. Stay away from sport altogether.
We will leave sport and we'll move on to name 7 elements from the periodic table. This should make you sound smart. Time starts now.
Aluminium, zinc, iron, lead, copper, gold, bronze. I don't know. I went to school 100 years ago.
You got that right. You got that. So far you've got 2 points from 7 and 11.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm very intelligent.
What's something else that'll make you sound intelligent?
I mean, thanks. But now you're saying that you got to make me sound intelligent.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one.
What?
Go.
Name 7 Mercedes-Benz cars.
Time starts now.
SLS, G-Wagon, ML, CLA, CLK,
Time's up.
yes, class.
6.
Mm-hmm.
6.
Not bad.
Yeah, so close. So I think
If you got E63, you're a car.
I didn't say E. I drive an E500 and I didn't say E. I was trying to memorize the board that's in the Mercedes museum.
Okay, so I will wrap that up for 9 and 10. So Betty got 2 points. So she got...
I'll be at the bottom of that. It's like a Top Gear thing.
Yeah, pretty much. But you're the first person, so you're also at the top and the bottom, I guess.
See, you should have said like name 7 movies with Brad Pitt or something, or 7 girly questions, because all the men will know the answers if it's all sport, because I don't follow sport.
True.
So you got to ring me back and give me 7 girly questions.
Okay.
7, perfume brands. 7, shoe brands. I don't know. Girly questions.
Oh, we'll give you a girly question then. Name 7 movies with Brad Pitt in them. It's time starts now.
Benjamin Button, Troy, Thelma and Louise. Ooh, far out.
Time's up.
I got 4.
Yeah. So yeah, high score 2. For Betty, and for anyone who's ever played. Just remind me, Betty's the only person to have played. So I think that wraps it up for the podcast. Brayden, do you have anything to say?
Just want to say thanks, Betty, for joining us on tonight's podcast. And,
that's okay.
And I wish you all the luck for the rest of the year in the V8 Supercars Championship and the GT Championship.
Thank you very much.
And, what about you, Stephen? Any last thoughts?
I would thank Billy Klimenko coming on board for this podcast. I'd like to see you again at Booker Curry in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, and look, I tell you what, there's a place in Pukekohe called Vertigo or something. They make the best hamburgers I've ever eaten in my whole entire life. So I'm so looking forward to that.
Okay. Thanks for Billy joining us, and good luck for Pukekohe and the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to leave us a like on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Spreaker. Subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes. And until next time, thanks for watching.